Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Call the City Council to order at 8 o'clock on Monday, March 8th, 2021. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So for this council meeting, we'll be implementing the governor's executive order regarding relief for the open meeting law. This allows councilors to participate remotely. All votes will be via roll call. There is one public hearing, and I will go over the process for participating in the public hearing before agenda item number 2. There are 26 items on this evening's agenda, and I will now ask the clerk to call the roll to confirm attendance.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner is present.
Councilor Doucette. Councilor Doucette is present. Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas is present.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera is present.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish is present.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin is present.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Land is present.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram is present.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing is present.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman is present.
And Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby is present.
11 present, sir.
I will now ask the city clerk to read agenda item number 1.
Minutes of the City Council meeting, February 22nd, 2021.
Councilor Tenera.
Thank you. Accept and place on file, please.
Motion is made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Doucette. Councilor Doucette votes yes. Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to accept and place on file the minutes is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 2.
Now is the time for the continued public hearing on the application for a sign special permit from Serato Signs LLC on behalf of Starbucks, 133 South Bolton Street, order number 21-100-8199B.
Okay, for this public hearing, a few items to remind folks of. Please keep your computer or phones muted when not speaking, and then unmute to speak, and mute when finished speaking. And if you're calling in via a telephone, the unmute button is pressing *6. Just like if the public was here in the chambers, please be respectful while waiting for your turn to speak. The system does not always work when everyone tries to speak at once. We will do our best to give each individual an opportunity to speak, so please be patient. Do not watch the meeting on TV. There is a delay. Your remote access capability is real time. Should there be technical issues, and there won't because we have Mr. Gibbs here in the chamber with us tonight, we will recess and determine if they can be corrected. Then at the conclusion of the public meeting, the council will recess and the system will be cleared of participants, and then the council will continue with the remainder of the agenda. So for the continuance of this public hearing, it will be conducted in 4 stages. The 4 stages are public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant, questions from the public, public speaking in opposition, and questions from the city councilors. So at this point, we'll start with the first part of the public hearing, which is public speaking in favor, and we'll start with the applicant. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, this is Joe Nolasco at Hilton Displays. I'm the sign vendor for Starbucks. Address is Greenville, South Carolina.
Joe, could you just say that one more time? You came in a little loud, and maybe back away from the microphone a little bit.
Sure. Joe Nolasco, Hilton Displays, signage vendor for Starbucks, Greenville, South Carolina.
Thank you very much. You may proceed.
Yes, I've submitted a PowerPoint presentation, which I was told would be played. And I can explain the slide as we go.
Yep, we're bringing the PowerPoint presentation up now.
Okay, great. We can go to the second slide, please. So this is the digital order screen, which is the called the signing questionnaire. And that's just an example of one at a store that's already in use. And then the next slide will just show a further out image of how it looks in conjunction with the menu board. So when cars drive up, they'll be ordering it as well, looking at the board. The following slide, if you want to go one more, is the site plan for this location. And the red oval there is a location of the digital order screen. You can see the streets are labeled there, so you can tell where the digital order screen is on the property to the back of the building. And then there's the drive lane there you've got, and then the boundary before the next property. The next slide is a zoomed in view. If you go forward, again, the red oval just highlights where the digital order screen is. And this shows the landscaping that is proposed with the shrubbery and the trees, basically immediately in front of the order screen. The next slide will be examples of the shrubberies or the shrubs that are going to be planted. These are the actual examples of the shrubs are all green, fairly low. And then the next slide is going to be the trees. And there are some color to the trees and a couple different examples there. So that shows what's going to be landscaped in that area. The following slide, following 3 slides are actually photos from this site. This one showing as the cars come towards you to order. The next slide will show if you were standing at the screen looking out at the adjacent property. And then the last slide shows going away from, going, through the lane. And if you don't mind backing up one slide for a moment, you can see the area, obviously, that's going to be landscaped there between the further curb and the fence on the adjacent property. So that entire area, which has no landscaping at present, will have all those shrubs and trees planted there. So it should look pretty good.
Anything else, Joe? Is that it?
Not unless you have questions. That's my presentation.
Okay, no, thank you very much. Are there any other members of the public speaking in favor?
Yeah, hi, this is Jim Pedowick. I am an executive vice president at St. Mary's Credit Union, and I sat with most of you starting back in 2019 for approvals for this project. Through City Council, Urban Affairs, the Planning Committee, and Planning Committee again, and City Council again, we vetted our site plan for zoning and for our special permits for the drive-through. And the sign locations were all set through that process. I just wanted to share that the only reason we're here tonight is for that video component of the menu board. And I believe that where it's located, the elevation on the site and the landscaping we have yet to do will mitigate any concerns that neighbors behind us could have. So I thank you all for your consideration.
Thank you, Jim. Are there any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? And if you're on the phone, it's *6 to unmute. Hearing none, I'll close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the public? Are there any questions from the public? Questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll close that portion of the public hearing. Public speaking in opposition. Are there any members of the public speaking in opposition? And again, *6 to unmute your phone. Are there any members of the public speaking in opposition? Hearing none, I'll close that portion of the public hearing. Questions from the city councilors? Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you to the applicant for the PowerPoint I had a chance to go to your site, and it seems like a great place for a coffee and to deposit your money. And I've been a customer of St. Mary's, probably one of your longest serving customers. I don't want to go how far back, but been with St. Mary's for a long time. I bought my first car with the car loan from St. Mary's when it was up on Broad Street. With that said, the only thing I was concerned about when I was over there on the weekend was exactly what was presented is the sides, because when I was sitting there, I said, okay, my lights would shine. I was at the ATM. I said my lights would shine a little bit into the other property. So it's good to see the vegetation plan. Question on it, the vegetation you showed indicated some larger brush and so forth, or bushes. Will those be planted at that maturity, or will it be a waiting time period for it to grow?
Yeah, there will be a growth period. They won't be planted at full maturity. We would have had the plantings done in the fall had we not been shut down for 8 weeks due to COVID. So we are intending to start planting as soon as the nurseries open in April.
Okay, and if I may, Mr. President, one additional question, and I'm hoping it won't happen, but based on that, if noise does become an issue to the abutters, I would ask that some signage go up. That we have it down at McDonald's, just so you know, too, that it just says do not play loud music and, you know, try to keep it quiet as you're going through line. But let's hope that doesn't happen. But if so, I would ask that you consider signage. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Are there any other councilors with any questions? Councilor Landers.
Mr. President, just a couple of comments. I got to tell Jim, the whole project exceeds my expectation. I know when we went through this, you know, I had some questions and concern, but you did a real nice job. And knowing a little bit about landscaping, you know, what I saw you showing there, and then driving through there a couple times, I think, and you've had all pros down there working so far, so you get some professional landscapers that they will do what you want them to do, and they'll look good, and they will give the neighbors the protection that they need. So all I can say, good job, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Landers. Any other councilors? Any questions?
Mr. President, this is Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is in Urban Affairs, and although I was hoping we could actually just approve this, there is a document that Urban Affairs would need to recommend approval of, and the full council would need to approve. That's the decision on the LED sign special permit. So, Mr. Pedowich, maybe you need to reach out to Karen Boley, who's the council's executive assistant. She has a draft that she can give you, I think, as the owner of the property. St. Mary's is probably the appropriate person to submit that documentation. There's some information that's required in it. And Councilor Oram, to your point, I have already made a note to possibly add in a condition on the noise signs. So I do have that noted, and it will be discussed. I am setting up a subcommittee meeting for next week, so hopefully this could be on that agenda if we have the draft. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Roby. Are there any other councilors with any questions? Any other councilors with any questions? Any other councilors with any questions? Hearing none, I close that part of the public hearing and the entire public hearing, and this is in Urban Affairs.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a 2-minute recess to clear the system. Council is back in session at 8:16. We'll continue with agenda item number 3.
From Council President Ossing, having Mayor Vigent provide an update to the City Council regarding COVID-19.
Mayor Vigent, the floor is yours.
Mr. President, members, thank you very much for allowing me to come down again tonight. Give you a quick update on where we are. Just wanted to let everyone know, as far as testing goes, the hospital's been doing a fantastic job down at New England Sports Center. Did about 2,000 tests last week. So we're staying on that clip right now. It's been consistently around there for the last few weeks. And we've been notified that that testing facility has been extended through June 30th. So we're excited about that. Today, we have 78 active cases in the city. We've been at that we've been in the 70-80 range for a couple of weeks now, and we've been staying under the 4% positivity rate. We're at 3.24 for the last 14 days. So that's all the good news. I'm not excited about the vaccine process. The city, the Marlborough Health Department and John Garside have not received any additional doses for about a month now. There's been no first doses available that have been given to the city of Marlborough. Very, very frustrating. This week, finally, the hospital is receiving approximately 500 new doses for first-time doses. So that's obviously something, but those are not for Marlborough residents. Those are for to go through the state website. So 500 doses through the state website goes pretty quickly. So I'm really, really frustrated about the process. We're still working with Secretary Sutters and getting the approval for the site that we've had open now for a full week. We were open the day they told us we had to open, which was March 1st. And during the entire week, the hospital was doing their second doses down there. They moved their entire operation down there. We're open for business. They only did second doses. We did 0 first doses at the Marriott in the new facility. I've been told both by text and verbally from the Lieutenant Governor that we've been approved, but we still haven't received any approval down in the health department. So it's been frustrated, to say the least. As far as the city and how we're doing, we have all the phase 1 people, the first responders, the nursing homes, the assisted living, the public housing is virtually been completely done for their second dose at this point. So they're going along pretty well. John Garside and his health department have done a fantastic job working with CVS, working with Bouvier Pharmacy, and moving that forward. But you know, it's just been very frustrating. We were told to set up for 750 a day. We've done that, and we haven't received anything from the state. One other little tidbit I got today from our friends at the hospital is if you are a patient at the Marlborough Hospital, have used either Marlborough Hospital or one of the UMass Systems facilities over the last couple of years, you can go on a patient's portal and enroll in My Chart, and it gives you a little leg up on getting in line for the vaccine. They'll notify you if they have extra doses or set up appointments. They'll just kind of remind you. So they're doing a great service for their people and their patients. And I've been up there more times than I want to admit, but I have not gone on and registered yet. But I plan on doing that tomorrow, and it was great for them to give us that little heads up, because we have a lot of residents that obviously use the facility, and it's a great asset for the city. So with that, I open it up for any questions you may have for me, but I did just want to take a minute to give you a quick update.
Mr. Mayor, before I ask for questions, would you like a suspension of the rules for the resolution that you want to
Yeah, I also, I know several of you have asked me what you can do to help out. Senator Eldridge has reached out, and the representatives have reached out to offer assistance. I'm thinking that if you were to consider doing a resolution, I did something today and distributed it out. It was just something to give them a little push in Boston. We're ready to go to work. We have the people in place, the facilities. We just need the vaccine. So if you consider jumping, asking for, I asked you to suspend the rules and take that in, and you can discuss it and vote on it. It's really just telling them they got to go back to giving vaccines to local communities and allow us to get some of our residents taken care of. I know you're all familiar with Attorney Bergeron, and I was talking to him the other day. He's actually going out to North Adams, which is a great city to go visit, but to go out for a vaccine, I think, is a little bit of a distance. But that's the location that came up, so he grabbed it. And again, this resolution is really to just give a little push. I want to send it to the governor, lieutenant governor, and our legislative delegation. Like I said, the senator and I have talked a couple times about it, and he's trying to work on things from his end. So if you would consider that, that would be a great help.
So with that, I'll look for a motion to suspend the rules to accept the mayor's correspondence on the resolution.
So moved, Mr. President. Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. I'll ask the clerk to call the rules, or to suspend the rules for accepting the mayor's communication.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to suspend the rules is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. I'll ask the clerk to read the mayor's letter and the resolution.
Honorable President Ossing and councilors, I am submitting a resolution directed to the Massachusetts Department of Public Health urging for an increased allotment of the COVID-19 vaccine, enabling us to make it available to area residents within the state's phased guidelines. Thank you in advance for your consideration and joining me to approve this resolution this evening. I will be on hand to answer any questions and give a brief update on where we are with the vaccination process. The resolution reads, a resolution urging the Massachusetts Department of Public Health to allow local boards of health to administer COVID-19 vaccine to their residents by making the vaccine available on a local level. Whereas on January 30th, 2020, the World Health Organization designated the 2019 novel coronavirus outbreak as a public health emergency of international concern, and whereas on January 31st, 2020, the United States Department of Health and Human Services declared a national public health emergency, and whereas on March 10th, 2020, Governor Baker declared a state of emergency, giving the state flexibility to respond and mitigate the spread of COVID-19 to protect the health and welfare of the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And whereas the City of Marlborough's Board of Health, by its staff and volunteers, has administered COVID-19 vaccine first doses and continues to seek additional first and second doses to complete the administration of eligible Phase 1 and 2 participants and future Phase 3 and 4 participants. And whereas the City of Marlborough Board of Health has the capacity to administer up to 500 vaccines per day outside of the regional collaborative sites to all residents who are eligible within the state's phased guidelines, and resolved that the mayor and city council hereby urge the Massachusetts Department of Public Health to grant local boards of health an additional and continuous supply of vaccine to administer to their area residents, ensuring a convenient location to obtain vaccine.
Thank
To be
you,
signed by the mayor and city council. Sorry, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. So I'll now open it up for the councilors for questions, and then we'll ask for a motion on the resolution. So questions for the mayor on the COVID-19 update. Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I appreciate you, Mayor, for actually coming down here two sessions in a row to do our updates, because I think it's important that the citizens hear what's going on with this. And the vaccine is actually, it's slow. We're all frustrated on how long it takes. I did do some research as far as how the state's performing. We rank 5th in distribution of vaccines nationwide. We get We rank 15th in the number of doses that get sent to the state, and we rank 15th in population. I don't think that's a coincidence. You know, should we be doing better? Yes. Are we doing okay? Yes. Do we need more vaccines? Absolutely. You know, I'm hoping that this gets better. I just think that it's more than just the state. If we're making this proclamation, it should be escalated to the federal level as well. At least let the CDC and our congressional representatives be aware that we consider this to be an issue. That's all I really need to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. A couple questions. Again, just questions and not criticizing or anything like that. The first question would be, if we are looking at implementing this resolution and we do get the doses, do we have a registration process in place for Marlborough residents?
We use the state process, and then we have the hospital process. As we've been opening up clinics over at the senior center, we do our own process. But they've been limited to, you know, a few hundred at a time. But could we ramp that up? Absolutely. If they call us and told us we had 1,000 tomorrow, we'll figure out how to get it in the arms. To respond, I just want to mention the percentage that Councilor Doucette mentioned, and I may or may not be correct. I hope it's correct, but I can tell you we haven't done 22% of the Marlborough residents. I represent the city of Marlborough. I want my residents done. So that's why I'm getting a little frustrated that we may say there's 22% of the state that's done, but we don't have 22% of the Marlborough residents done.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. President, just a couple questions from there. And I agree with the mayor. We need to take care of our residents. And I know all my city councilors feel the same way as the mayor does. What happened back in H1N1, and Mr. Mayor, you know I have some experience in public health, but what happened there is we got backlogged into people. The minute we got vaccine for H1N1, boy, did the calls come in from the residents where I worked in Ashland. So we set up a registration process that made it so much easier for the public health staff, including myself. I would ask that while we're waiting on this resolution that we look into something like that. It was computer generated, could be done at the desk. I expect if Marlborough announces that we have vaccine for our residents, you're going to get thousands of calls, and you should be getting thousands of calls at the Board of Health. So it's just a suggestion. I'm not stating that it has to be done, but I think it would help ease the immediate overload of calls. I think every phone in City Hall will probably be off the hook, and I suggest you go with the Medical Reserve Corps for some clinical workers. I'm part of the Marlborough Medical Reserve Corps. Be glad to help at a phone bank, as well as we got to make sure we have our clerical, which is that side of it, as well as our clinical. And that was my next question, if I may. You state if we do get 500 vaccines, I don't know if that's per week or per day, but do we have enough clinical people? And I see Marlborough Hospital here. Ellen, I just saw a nod, and you're right in the center of my screen. I'm hoping that's a yes, and I presume, if I may, through you, Mr. President, to Ellen Colucci from the hospital, if they're going to assist the Board of Health with the clinical side of the actual inoculations.
I can tell you, Councilor, that they've been a great help up to this point, and they would be filling in. We also have about 30 volunteers from the Assabet Valley that are available to us at any time. So we've used them in the clinics that we have had, but there's 30 students over there that have all been gone through the process and are willing and able to assist us if we get those doses.
Well, and thank you, and I'm sorry, Mr. President, through you to Ellen, if she doesn't, she's nodding, but I think she may want to say something, if that's okay with you, Mr. President.
Well, there'd need to be a suspension of the rules in order for that to take place.
Okay, well, the nod helps. And last but not least, maybe not a question, but boy, are we very lucky. Now, kudos to both Marlborough Hospital and to Assabet Valley for that tremendous amount of help they've already offered and will continue. And I agree with the mayor. I believe the city of Marlborough can do this. And I just think the backlog might be the calls at the beginning, just like the state had trouble with. But I think we all move together as a team, and that's the important part. So that's why I actually jumped right away. I'm sure any council would have motioned to approve this resolution. And I'll be glad to sign my name as big as John Hancock did. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to all my fellows.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mayor, thank you for the update, as always. Just two clarifying questions. You noted that it's been about a month since the city has gotten any first doses. Are you hearing anecdotally that any other communities are getting first doses, or is it pretty much the same across the board? Just wanna...
Well, the problem is that they're kind of put all over the place.
Yeah.
So to identify, we'd have to go into the different facilities within those communities.
Okay.
So they're all different.
Okay.
The Council Doucette mentioned the statistics on the national website. It's saying we're done 22% of the state. Yep. So again, I'm not sure exactly where they're going, yep, but I don't believe we've done 9,000 residents in the city of Marlborough or 8,500 residents in the city of Marlborough.
Yeah. Okay, and then just to follow up, if we were able to get the Board of Health to have the state give us some vaccines, is it clear, will we be able to reserve those only for city residents, or will at least give a priority? Have they made the point known on that, or?
Well, I think that's the difference between the site that we've been partnering in with the hospital, and that's open up to the right, state, to log on to the state. When we were doing our own clinic here, we were open up to the Marlborough residents only, to get them through. Bouviers Pharmacy is also doing a second dose facility down at the senior center. We've been working with them quite a bit on it. They have some out of town people that come in that are their customers, and I said, as long as we're getting the bulk of the appointments, I'm good. But unless we get direct allotment to our health department, we haven't been able to have a Marlborough only site. There were only second doses that was backfilling from the prior doses that we've done.
Great. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you,
Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Navin. Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you, Mayor Vision. This has been extremely helpful, and we appreciate you advocating on the state level. It's very clear that there is such a lack of communication happening, and we know that it's very hard for residents to get appointments, and so this advocacy is extremely important. And I want to echo the sentiments of elevating this to our congressional delegation, given the fact that I'm sure the state isn't receiving enough vaccines as well. And I know this is not unique to just Marlborough and sort of the Hunger Games for vaccines, unfortunately. I did have some questions regarding the letter itself, and it might have kind of built off what Councilor Navin just stated, but this resolution is asking for an additional site. So outside of this regional one that is placed in Marlborough at the Marriott, this would be requesting a localized site strictly for Marlborough residents. Is that correct?
Well, we're looking for the doses, but the additional site would be at the senior center for right now.
Okay, no, that's really helpful. And then I'm curious, when the first responders were done some of the housing already, it was easier to categorize the number of residents who received vaccines because we were able to get that information locally. When residents do get vaccines in other locations, do we get that data at the local level, or is it strictly at the state level and we don't know if someone over 65 got a vaccine in North Adams? How would we get that information?
Yeah, I think at this point, there's no clear data that's been coming out. Supposedly they're putting something together, but at this point we don't. All we know is what we've done, and the hospital can help us with some of the things that they've done up there. But if someone from Marlborough went down to Gillette Stadium, they report to the state. We wouldn't know that until the state's database is clear and concise, and we can go on there just like we do with the vaccines right now. I mean, with the testing.
Okay, no, that's really helpful to know, because I imagine it's harder for us to know what percentage if that information isn't being collected and sent to us from the state. And then the last thing I just wanted to note, and I know this is, no issue that anyone here can directly solve right now, but I know a lot of residents have really struggled with the second dose. It seems like a lot of people have been able to get their first dose of the vaccine. I know that's been an issue based on the backlog at the state level. So I'm just wondering, moving forward, what methods of communication will we be able to disseminate to residents to ensure they know when they are able to get their next vaccine, or if there is more options at the local level? Would that be through, social media, the website? What other ways are we getting that information out to the population?
In the majority of the cases, they're given an appointment right as they receive the first dose, so they're kind of lining it up a few weeks down the road. But we're starting to get a little concerned about our second doses, because We requested 257 this week for second doses and only received 200. So we're kind of, doing a balancing act, putting a few people off till next week, hoping that we get a little bit more. But for the most part, people, they have to keep track of things, but they're given most of the time, they're given appointments right when they're sitting down.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. And definitely as more information comes out, as Councilor Doucette mentioned, these updates are extremely helpful, both for us on the council, but also the public watching. I know I've received many calls about the second dose. I'm sure my fellow councilors have as well. So thank you for the advocacy, and I very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Perlman. Are there any other councilors with questions for the mayor? Hearing none, I'll close that part of, oh, no, wait, don't go there yet. I need a motion on the resolution.
So moved, Mr. President. Councilor Oram.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the resolution as presented by the mayor. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll to have council approval of the resolution.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
11 yeas.
The motion to approve the resolution to send to DPH is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. I would ask the councilors in the chamber on their way out to please sign the resolution, and I would ask the councilors that are on team room to, if they can get in tomorrow, to sign it as well. That way we can expeditiously get the resolution to the Department of Public Health.
And Mr. President, if I may.
Councilor Oram.
Yeah, if it could be left on the desk, I'll try to get in there early morning, as well as the other question I was just going to ask is, can we also make sure it gets sent to our federal legislators?
Yeah, we will work with our executive assistant, Karen, to make that happen. All right, with that, agenda item number 4.
Communication from the mayor regarding a resolution to the Massachusetts Department of Public Health to hold a public hearing and an independent cost analysis in relation to Mass General Brigham's proposed expansion.
I look for a motion to suspend the rules to allow Ellen Carlucci and Jim Leary of the UMass Medical Facilities in Marlborough Hospital to speak along with the mayor.
So moved.
So moved.
Mr. President.
Motion's made and it's suspension of the rules, so I will ask the clerk to call the roll to suspend the rules to allow the mayor, Ellen Carlucci, and Jim Leary speak on this topic.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
And Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to suspend the rules is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. I'll now ask Ms. Carlucci or Mr. Leary to update the council on just what you would like us to do.
Ellen, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll just say a quick good evening and thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, councilors, for all the support the City Council has given UMass Memorial Marlborough Hospital for many, many years and continue to keep us supported. The vaccine has obviously been a frustration, but I will say I'm very proud of the collaborative effort we have had with the city to try to push this along, and we are working diligently. And if tomorrow they gave us 2,000 doses of Pfizer, we would be filling those appointments as quickly as possible. So thank you for your support. And I do want to introduce you all to Jim Leary, who is our Vice President of Government Affairs at UMass Memorial Healthcare. He is a colleague of mine who has worked tirelessly to help promote our mission and what is right for the residents of our communities as well as the residents of Metro West and Central Massachusetts. So thank you for your time this evening. And Jim, if you could quickly give an overview of what we're asking the city councilors tonight to consider. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Ellen, and thank you, Mr. President, Mayor Vigil, and to the councilors. So in short, what we're really asking you to do is to go on record simply with this resolution to ask the Department of Public Health to exercise its full statutory power to undertake a thorough review of the proposal by Mass General Brigham. And what that means is there are two particular things that DPH has the statutory power to do that we're asking you to recommend. One is to assess the costs of the MGB proposal, and second is to assess its impact on safety net hospitals such as Marlborough, and to have a public hearing in order to do these things. And so I'll be brief. I know you're all familiar with Marlborough Hospital, obviously. It's been around for, I think it's 130 years now, providing critical services to the entire community, from emergency care to surgery to outpatient care and everything in between. The thing that a lot of people, some appreciate and some may not, is that it's a safety net hospital. And it's a safety net by mission. And the entire UMass Memorial system, it consists of safety net institutions. What that means is it's got a proven commitment to care for all. So whether you are poor, whether you are middle class, whether you're wealthy, whether you're underserved, they will take care of you. And this is proven in the numbers. The Health Policy Commission, which is a state commission that ranks hospitals and really assesses their costs, has found Marlborough Hospital treats over 64% of its patients are public payer, which means they're either on Medicare or they're on Medicaid/Mass Health, or they're uninsured, which is much higher, and it qualifies it as a high public payer hospital. And the commitment that Marlborough Hospital has really been demonstrated recently. A national ranking called the Lown Index ranked 3,300 hospitals across the country based upon how well they serve people of lower income and lower education levels and people of color. And Marlborough Hospital was in the top 100 out of those 3,300. It did all this while being one of the most affordable as well. Health Policy Commission data shows that its relative price is lower than the statewide median. So whether you are a business owner in the city, whether you're a middle income resident or a low income resident, it's serving you well. And the challenge as a safety net is financing. So for any safety net hospital, you lose money when you serve Mass Health patients. And the reason for that is Mass Health pays roughly 60 to 65 cents on the dollar of cost. You also lose money, obviously, when you treat uninsured because you don't get paid. And so you have to counterbalance that with commercial revenue. What we're seeing here with MGB is they're proposing a massive clinic in Westboro at a site that would be very easily accessible to commercially insured patients in this region, including many of the commercially insured patients that are served by Marlborough Hospital. The risk of that, and I should add, it's not located in an area that's very easily accessible to many Mass Health patients in the area. There's no public transportation. They're proposing a 62,000 square foot facility right where Route 9 and Route 495 meet. So 6 miles from the T-stop and not on a bus route. It's going to be very difficult for a lot of lower income patients to go there, but high income patients from surrounding towns in Metro West are pretty likely to go there, and they're pretty likely to be commercially insured. What that does is it puts Marlborough Hospital at risk in terms of its finances and in terms of its ability to really carry out its mission. And I should mention, in terms of cost, and this is of interest, I know Marlborough is known statewide for really doing a tremendous job, and I can tell you it's known in Worcester for doing a tremendous job in terms of attracting businesses. We expect that this proposal will drive up costs. So if you look at MGB, it's physician pricing, is 19% higher than UMass Memorial's. Its hospital pricing is 20% higher than ours, and it is by far the highest cost system in the state. So not only would it be more expensive to get care at Marlborough Hospital, when you get referred for specialized care, these patients will likely go to the two most expensive facilities in the state, either the Brigham or Mass General, rather than going to UMass Memorial Medical Center in Worcester, which is the lowest cost academic medical center in the state. So, you know, the question, I guess, is who would pay for this? And the reality is it would be local businesses, it would be local employers who would see their insurance premiums go up. And I'll give you a quote from Commonwealth Magazine when this proposal first came out, and they based this quote on an analysis by the Health Policy Commission. And they say, as more outpatient procedures switch to partners hospitals, costs overall go up. So based upon that analysis, and frankly, based upon the possibility that local providers who lose patients to MGB could end up losing jobs as well, and that could be the case at Marlborough Hospital. Based upon that, we're simply asking you to go on the record to ask the DPH to do a very thorough review and to do, as they have the statutory authority to do, to order an independent cost analysis and to hold a public hearing so members of the public can weigh in. So everything that I told you, we believe, we have very good reason to believe, and we think the data will show that, but it really is incumbent upon DPH to undertake that review and to determine that. And so all we're asking of you tonight is to ask them to do that and to live up to their statutory authority.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you, Ellen. I'll open it up to the councilors for any questions. Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Jim and Ellen, thank you very much. That was very well articulated and takes a very complicated issue and explains it very well. So thank you for that. And thank you for letting us know how we can help you guys after, you know, Marlborough Hospital has been here to help the community. If you could just speak, Jim, a little bit more about kind of what that process does and how it unfolds from there. So, you know, we signed on to this. We asked DPH to do this determination of need. How do we then continue to advocate, and then, you know, how do members of, you know, the city and the region continue to advocate as this process unfolds?
Thank you, Councilor. So it's a multi-pronged process. So the first stage was obviously Mass General Brigham had to make an application with the Department of Public Health. Once that application was deemed complete, we had 30 days for really anyone in the Commonwealth to go on record with what's called a 10 taxpayer group. So any 10 taxpayers, anyone subject to taxation in the Commonwealth, can file a 10 taxpayer group. The deadline for that is on Monday. And what they can do as 10 taxpayers is to request the two things I mentioned, an independent cost analysis and a public hearing. Without an independent cost analysis, what would happen is, I believe about 30 days after the close of the 10 taxpayer period would be a hearing before the Department of Public Health. And that's before their staff. And again, that's assuming that they go along with the request for a hearing. But members of the public would have the opportunity to weigh in with testimony, with letters, whatever the case may be, to express their opinion at that hearing. There's then about a 3-month period during which DPH staff analyze it, and they write up a report for the Public Health Commission, who have the final vote. The Public Health Commission will put it on, put this item on to one of their regular meetings. And once again, at that point, the public has an opportunity to weigh in. And then finally, the Public Health Commission takes a vote. And they can vote to approve the application, to disapprove it, or to change it and to suggest changes to it. If the independent cost analysis is allowed, then the process is stayed during that period of the independent cost analysis, which we're not sure exactly how long that will take, probably about 2 months. So in short, we're looking at a process that will take roughly 5 to 7 months from this point in time for them to complete it.
Great, thank you very much.
Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. First and foremost, thank you for your presentation, also for the literature you provided within our agenda. I was really overwhelmed when I read Bruce Moll's Healthcare #1 comments from January 14th of last year. Just totally didn't know this was happening, and very concerning, as you said, especially with Marlborough Hospital, in my view, being one of our greatest assets. With that said, first and foremost, the 10 taxpayer resolution, is that something that has been already completed and forwarded to the state?
There have been some that have gone into the state. There's not one from Marlborough that I know of. So this resolution before you tonight is not in and of itself a 10 taxpayer group. But if any of you were interested in creating one, you could do that and submit it, as long as it's submitted online it's a simple email address by Monday.
Well, Mr. President, I'd be glad to sign this 10 taxpayer form. If you want to leave it in the office tomorrow morning, I'll sign it with the other resolution for the vaccine. And then I just had one additional question. I don't want to take up too much time, but it was related to the hearing. So under Mass General Laws on the determination of needs, they don't even need to have that hearing, but obviously I believe they should. And my question would be, does it get noted somewhere so our residents will know when these hearings I'm hoping they will occur? How will we know?
It's a good question, and I need to find out exactly how it's noted. I'm sure they're required to post it, and we'll be keeping on top of that. So we'll certainly let you know.
Well, thank you. You definitely have my signature on one of the 10 taxpayers. I'll leave it up to the council president to see if he's okay with leaving that out for others who may wish to sign it at the council office. And with the deadline of Monday, I heard that, so we probably want to get this done immediately. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Oram, and I think Councilor Wagner.
Yes.
Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to our guests, Ms. Carlucci and Mr. Leary. This is excellent information. I'm so glad that you shared this today, and I would love the opportunity look forward to the public hearing, but I'd love the opportunity to invite you to come before the Human Services Committee and possibly share more details. So I just wanted to assess your interest. If you'd be willing to do that, I'd love to put that into motion.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to.
Excellent. Thank you.
That's a great idea, Councilor Wagner. I think that'll further help the understanding of the council as well as the public on what the next steps are from here after we get the 10 taxpayer form signed. So thank you very much. Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President, and through you to our guests as well. Thank you so much for this presentation. I really enjoyed reading the materials, and I feel like this is sort of an unknown thing that people wouldn't be as aware of, knowing the impact of some of these other developments, especially in the hospital, and I really appreciate the communities that are served by Marlborough Hospital. It's very admirable, and we definitely appreciate those services, and it really is a gem of the city and of the region, so thank you for that important work. I echo Councilor Wagner's comments. I think it's wonderful to have you all come before the council, and because the biggest thing for me is making sure that people stay on top of this if they want to engage, so I would just request to keep us updated as this moves forward. I'm very much in support of it, and can definitely see the impact of something so close by in the Westboro area. You know, we've seen that happen, and when other things come to a region, how it can kind of flood a lot of people away from the services that are already being given here. So I would definitely sign on to this as well. And if there's anything else that we can do, please don't hesitate to send us updates or communication so that we can file it with the council and stay in the loop. So thank you again, and looking forward to moving on this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Perlman. Any other questions? Councilor Landers.
Just a couple quick comments, Mr. President. As a freak, I've been up Marlborough Hospital quite a bit, but what I want to mention, you know, I don't know how many people are aware of this. You know, I mean, we happen to know because we're involved, but I wonder how many of the ordinary person out there. But the big thing to keep in mind, what Marlborough Hospital has done, the UMass system, you know, they've given us the cancer center in the last 5 years. You know, they've given us the imaging center just back. And kind of the conversation that the mayor was having tonight, you know, you can only do that with a hospital the size of of UMass, and then it expands into the UMass system in Worcester. You know, I think, you know, Mass General and partners, they have a goal to think that they can come in here. They really do. I mean, we don't need them. They must figure this is a good market, and they probably do. You know, 9 and 495, that's a hell of a place to locate a thing. But, you know, we don't need them. We're doing pretty well only because, you know, the UMass system is a good system. So somehow we got to keep up with this, Mr. President. I would love to, you know, speak at a public hearing in Boston or down on Fruit Street or wherever the hell they hold it, you know. That's how important it is. We want Marlborough to continue, Marlborough Hospital and the system, the UMass system, and grow. But look at the things they've done in the last 5 years. I could go on and on and on, but that's it, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Landers. So, with that being said, seeing no other questions, it would be appropriate for a motion to have the council sign off on the 10 taxpayer group notification.
Motion to have them sign off on the 10 taxpayer group, to have us, the council. Councilor Perlman. Sorry, I'm very excited about this.
No, well, we appreciate that excitement and that enthusiasm. So, motion is made and seconded to have the council sign off on the 10 taxpayer group document, and we'll have that forwarded to Mr. Leary, Ms. Carlucci, and the DPH. Any discussion on the motion?
Mr. President, this is Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you. I believe we have a resolution that is separate from the letter. Do we need to have a motion for each of them, or can the motion that was made be restated to include both the support of the resolution and to be a part of the 10-member group?
I'm sure Councilor Perlman would be happy to amend her motion to include the resolution.
Yes, so motion to do the 10 taxpayer group as well as approving the resolution.
So
thank you, Councilor Roby.
So the motion is made and seconded to approve the resolution and the signatures on the 10 taxpayer group form. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll to approve the resolution and the signatures on the 10 taxpayer form.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes, and I hope they can hear me in Boston.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to approve the resolution on the 10 taxpayer form is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. And I will note that Councilor Wagner will probably have an item on our next agenda to set up something for Human Services to get a little more information from our friends at UMass Memorial and Marlborough Hospital. And with that, I'd like to thank Ms. Carlucci and Mr. Leary for their participation this evening, and thank you very much. So I close that portion of the agenda item.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
2-minute recess for the clerk to clear. Are you all set? You're ready to go? If you're ready to go, I'm ready to go. Agenda item number 5.
Communication from the mayor regarding grant acceptance in the amount of $17,300 from the Massachusetts Cultural Council awarded to the Cultural Council to fund grants for programming and cultural experiences.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the grant.
Motion made and seconded to approve the grant. Is there any discussion on the motion? Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say I'm also chair of the Cultural Council and was very grateful that the state was able to still provide funding to every municipality, even given the pandemic, and that was in the state budget. And so it's very exciting that this will be allocated to groups who are doing programming to support the arts in Marlborough. Thank you.
You're welcome, Councilor Perlman. Is there any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none on the motion to approve, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
And Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
On the motion to approve the grant, it is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 6.
Communication from the mayor regarding a transfer request in the amount of $243,000 from PEG Fund to IT to fund various upgrades to equipment and software programs.
Counselor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer to the Finance Committee, please.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Finance Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Oh, Counselor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I do want to say I appreciate the work done by the head of IT getting phasing out solar winds, which was a situation as far as data security goes a couple of weeks ago. Appreciate his proactive response to that. So, thank you.
So noted. Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Any other discussion on the motion to refer to Finance? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll to refer to Finance.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landers votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
And Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer the item to the Finance Committee is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 7.
Communication from the mayor regarding proposed amendment to the Code of the City of Marlborough, Chapter 510 Sewers, Section 2D, Use of Public Sewers, as submitted by the mayor.
Counselor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. A motion to refer to Public Service Committee.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Public Services Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landers votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer the mayor's change to Chapter 510 is referred to Public Service, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 8.
Communication from the mayor regarding the appointment of Christine Purple as Human Resources Director for a 3-year term effective day after council confirmation.
Councilor Dumas.
Refer to Personnel.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Personnel Department. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll to refer to Personnel.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landers votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to refer the appointment to the Personnel Department is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 9.
Communication from the mayor regarding the appointment of Robert Gustafson to the Retirement Board for a 3-year term effective on the date of council confirmation, replacing David Keene, whose term expired on January 31st, 2021.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Refer to Personnel.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Personnel Department. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Mr. President?
Councilor Oram.
Yeah, as I think every city councilor received communication from a committee member asking to table this, so I'll motion to table until we get further information.
I'm sorry, the motion to refer to personnel takes precedence. On the motion to refer to personnel, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Navin votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes no.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes no.
Counselor Wagner.
Can I ask a clarifying question, or do we have to only vote at this point?
It's really voting, but if there's a clarification, a point of information, I'll be happy to help you.
It's my understanding that any concerns behind this could be addressed in personnel, so by voting now doesn't mean is that correct? Am I missing something?
You are 100% correct.
Okay, so then Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
9 in favor, 2 opposed, sir.
The motion to refer to the Personnel Department carries in vote of 9 in favor, 2 opposed. Agenda item number 10.
Communication from the Town of Berlin Zoning Board of Appeals regarding a notice of decision on special permit and site plan approval for a retail marijuana establishment at 64 Banner Road, Berlin.
Mr. President.
Councilor Tenera.
Motion accepted and place on file, please.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll to accept and place on file.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
Motion to accept and place on file is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 11.
Communication from National Grid regarding the vegetation maintenance notification.
Councilor Tenera.
Mr. President, accept and place on file, please.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the correspondence from National Grid. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
Motion to accept and place on file the correspondence from National Grid is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 12.
Communication from various residents and business owners in support of the application for a special permit to build a multifamily residential project in the business district to be known as Walcott Heritage Farms, 339 Boston Post Road East, order number 20-100, 7995J.
Mr. President, this is Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you. Move to accept and place on file.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I have a comment I'd like to share. I think that's important since this is going into public record. Just to point out that the letter refers to housing opportunities that are desperately needed. And I just would like to point out that this particular development, the rents involved for a one-bedroom would require an annual income about $86,000 or $43 an hour, and that's the two-bedroom, and the one-bedroom would be close to $70,000 or $34 an hour. So I would just like to point out that I found it interesting, the signers on these letters, most of the employees couldn't even afford to live here. So when we look at housing needs in the city, I think we need to think about actual affordable housing, which would be a rent between $800 to $1,000 a month, and that these units don't fall close to that, into that category. And so while I appreciate the letter being written, I just want to clarify this. There's nothing that indicates a housing crisis that this particular development would address, and just wanted to make that clear. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Wagner. Is there any other comments or questions? Councilor Oram.
Mr. President.
Councilor Oram.
Mr. President, I know our minutes get abbreviated. I would ask that Councilor Wagner's comments be put in writing and attached to this same document. Thank you.
If Councilor Wagner wants to write those up, we're happy to do
I would be
that.
most happy to write them up.
Thank you, Councilor Wagner. Any other discussion on the motion to accept and place on file? Hearing none.
Mr. President.
Oh, Councilor Roby.
Sorry. My understanding of minutes are it's motions and votes. It's not a verbal representation of what was discussed. We have recordings that will be available, and obviously the public heard this tonight. So I am not sure that it's appropriate to, for this particular one, include verbatim something that was said when we don't do it for other things. The communication itself isn't even going to be in the minutes.
That part is true. So I'll leave it up to Council Wag. She can submit something if she would like to on her.
If it's not appropriate for minutes, the letter did go to council, so I'd be more than happy to summarize my thoughts and send it as for information only to my fellow council people.
That's fine, Council Wagner.
Mr. President.
Councilor Orr.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick question, then. If that's the case, obviously these will be, as we're required to in Massachusetts, attach the actual notice to our minutes. Could Councilor Wagner's comments be also attached to the minutes?
It's something I haven't come across. I'll have to take it up with the city secretary after the meeting.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Orm. On the motion to accept and place on file, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Orem.
Councilor Orem votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
Motion to accept and place on file is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 13.
Minutes, boards, commissions, and committees.
Mr. President.
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Propose to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards, commissions, and committees.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards, the commissions, and committees. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Orem. Okay, ixnay on the Councilor Orem. Councilor Pearlman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to highlight two things that I came across in the Marlborough Public Schools School Committee meeting minutes, that there is this National Honor Society tutoring program starting with MHS and Whitcomb students using remote learning for service hour credit, which I thought was really stellar and wanted to highlight, and also really liked the idea of a citywide art show that would be taking place on school grounds in the spring, and I thought that was very innovative, and appreciate the innovation and flexibility of all of our school department members, as well as everyone on the various boards, commissions, and committees. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Pearlman. Any other comments?
Mr. President, since you asked, I'll just add to that. That's a good point that was made. I don't want to take up too much time, but it was nice to see the Cultural Council offer certain grants. Thank you.
On the motion to accept and place on file, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Orem.
Councilor Orem votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
On the motion to accept and place on file the minutes, it is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Filed, 11 in favor, none opposed. Item 14.
Claims.
Mr. President.
Councilor Doucette.
Motion to send claims to legal.
Motion made and seconded to refer the claims to the legal department. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Orem.
Councilor Orem votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to send the claims to the legal department is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Reports of committees. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance Committee met on March 1st, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. We had 7 items on the agenda that evening. The first item was 21-100-8202, a transfer request in the amount of $370,000 from PEG Cable Trust to fund the FY22 budget for WMCT-TV. Motion by Council Oram, seconded by the chair to approve the transfer. Roll call, motion carried 5-0. Second item was 21-100-8185. Transfer request in the amount of $579,275.76 from undesignated funds, free cash, to miscellaneous mitigation account to be used to finish mitigation costs related to trench repairs, as noted by City Engineer Thomas DePercio. Motion by Councilor Tenera, seconded by the chair to recommend approval of the transfer. Motion carried per roll call, 5-0. Third item was 21-100-8206. Transfer request in the amount of $10,400,000, which moves funds from ballparks and fields capital and undesignated fund to various accounts on the transfer sheets. Motion by Councilor Tenera, seconded by the chair to recommend approval of the transfer. Per roll call, motion carried 5-0. Fourth item was 21-100-8208, transfer request in the amount of $459,600, which moves funds from and to various accounts within DPW to fund equipment for the Easterly wastewater treatment plant. Motion by Council Oram, seconded by the chair to recommend approval of the transfer. Per roll call, motion carried 5-0. Fifth item was 21-100-8207. Transfer request in the amount of $1,250,101 from the meals tax revenue account to fund FY21 bond payments associated with parks, recreation improvements. Motion by Councilor Tenera, seconded by the chair to recommend approval of the transfer. Per roll call, it carried 5-0. Sixth item was order number 20-100-7959, that the City Council review the results of the FY20 abbreviated budget process, and it's further ordered that the City Council approve the Massachusetts Department of Revenue Finance Review recommendations for adopting an abbreviated budget authorization format for all departments for future city budgets. Motion by Councilor Tenera, seconded by the chair to recommend authorization for the adoption of an abbreviated budget process for all departments for the future city budgets. Per roll call, motion carried 5-0. Last item that evening was order number 21-100-8211. Request to rescind $4,889,927 in various bonds for projects that are either complete or no longer available for bonding due to regulations. Motion by Councilor Tenera, seconded by the chair to recommend rescission of the bonds. Per roll call, carried 5-0. Finance Committee adjourned at 7:43 p.m. And on a public service announcement, Finance Committee will meet on March 15th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Irish. Are there any other reports of committees? Seeing none, we move on to agenda item number 15.
Resolution of the City Council in support of installation of a traffic signal by the Massachusetts Department of Transportation on Route 20 at the site of the proposed development at 339 Boston Post Road and Village Drive, submitted by Councilor Roby.
Mr. President, this is Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. This topic has been one that's been discussed in the Urban Affairs Subcommittee meetings, and I believe that discussion among pretty much all the city councilors would support this. It took me a while to finally remember to submit something. I believe everybody has it. The clerk would read it, and I would hope that all of the city councilors would support this. I did not write it with a signature line for every councilor. I don't know if that's actually necessary or not. Maybe we can get a clarification. And if people are there tomorrow or the rest of the week, they could sign. Otherwise, if they don't need to, I believe just the council president would sign this.
Thank you. What would you like? Do you want the motion, the resolution read, Councilor Roby?
If the clerk can read the resolution, please.
Marlborough City Council Resolution, Traffic Beacon Route 20 East. Whereas the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is finalizing the design plans and will be completing roadway reconstruction work on Route 20, Boston Post Road East, in the city of Marlborough, to include a new road layout with a center turning lane and bike lanes and new sidewalks. And whereas there currently exists an over 55 housing development at Village Drive with approximately 100 townhouses. And whereas the location of Village Drive is approximately 1 mile from the signal at Hosmer Street, and during rush hours, the residents have difficulty finding gaps in the traffic to turn into and out of Village Drive onto Route 20. And whereas there is a proposed housing development to be built across from Village Drive, which will include 140 units and require 2 parking spaces per unit. And whereas there currently exists on the direct abutting lot to the proposed housing development an over 55 manufactured home association with approximately 124 homes. And whereas the traffic counts for the proposed housing development do not meet the warrant for a traffic signal at this new intersection. And whereas the developer of the proposed housing development is willing to pay for the costs associated with the installation of a traffic light as a mitigation fee, now therefore be it resolved that the Marlborough City Council petitions the Massachusetts Department of Transportation to allow a traffic signal to be constructed at this proposed intersection, the design and construction of which to be paid for by the developer of the proposed housing development. And further, the Honorable Senator Eldridge, Honorable Representative Gregoire, and Honorable Representative Gentile are respectfully requested to lend their enthusiastic support for the installation of the traffic signal, which will enhance the public safety for nearby residents residing along this stretch of Route 20.
Thank you. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I thank our Executive Assistant Karen Bully and Tom DePercio from Engineering for helping the wording of this to make sure that it has all of the right information. I would move to approve the resolution.
Motion made and seconded to approve the resolution. I'll open it up for discussion. Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you, Councilor Roby, for putting this together. I do appreciate it. Just as if there's a way to do it, I would definitely prefer to have all the councilors to sign it. I think it's important that it shows unity from the council. If all the councilors do sign something like this to DOT, more signatures the merrier type of thing. I'm not sure if that can be something that needs to be modified to the existing one, or how we want to do that.
So the council secretary informed me it will have the roll call vote on it, but if you, I mean, if you want the signatures on it, we'll have a signature page and we'll have 3 things for the councilors to sign.
That's perfectly fine for this case, yes.
Okay, so it'll be tomorrow.
Yeah.
The councils will all have to come in tomorrow. You won't be able to sign it tonight because it's not available tonight.
I'll be in.
Just stating the obvious.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Councilor Orem.
Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you, Councilor Roby, and to Tom DePercio and Karen as well. A question on the part that says, whereas the developer of the proposed housing development is willing to pay. Is that something we have in writing, that they will be paying for those lights? Do we have anything in writing on that?
If you're asking me, I would tell you that they probably wouldn't get the special permit if that condition wasn't in it. That's just me.
Mr. President, this is Councilor Roby. There is language already in the special permit that covers a mitigation fee. I think there is interest on the part of the developer to increase that if it's necessary, but I think that that will definitely be in there.
Well, thank you for the answers. I would be willing to support this, but I'm uncomfortable if I don't see something in writing from the developer stating they will pay for all cost of this traffic light. If I don't see that, I'm sorry, I can't support this.
You are entitled to that opinion as a city councilor. Any other discussion on the motion? Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Councilor Roby, for drafting this. As we've talked about, I think there is broad support for a traffic light in this area. And as we've talked about during the committee, whether or not it is this development or there is something that goes in there as of right, there is going to be an increase of traffic to the area. To Councilor Orem's point, if it's not this development, we will have to address, how that is paid for. But getting everybody on record saying that they support this traffic light, I think, is important. The only thing I would ask Councilor Roby is and further where we talk about our legislative delegation on Beacon Hill. I think it would be great to enlist their support. Have they been notified about this, or have we worked with them to make sure that they're aware of this? I know they've been at some of the public hearings. I just want to make sure they know that this is before the council and that they are being requested to do this.
Mr. President, if I may respond.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you. I did not reach out to them. I think this was added as a respectfully request. If it's, I think that at least Representative Gentile is well aware of this. I did get an email, I'm sorry, I got a phone message from him that he will support whatever he can. So I would hope that at least he is interested. It's not a demand. If this is the first they're hearing from it, I think they would probably find out about it, and hopefully we'll support it.
But to answer that question, it will be, the resolution only going to the DOT, but it will also go to Senator Eldridge and Representatives Gregoire and Gentile as well. Any other discussion on the resolution?
Mr. President, just I'll yield.
Who is?
Mr. President, this was Councilor Roby. I didn't see any other hands. I did just want to echo the comments that Councilor Navid had made. If this development, this specific proposed development does not go in, there will be no traffic light for as of right development that goes in. So I think that needs to be clarified.
Thank you, Councilor Roby. Councilor Oram?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, and again, maybe it's the way it's presented with the fact that the developer of the present proposal is willing to pay. I don't know if the word is versus shall pay would help with this resolution. And at the same time, if that proposed development doesn't go in, obviously they're not going to pay. I understand that. It just, where does it leave the reader if in the long run the developer decides they're not willing to accept the part of paying for the traffic light? I don't want it to cloud the Department of Transportation or anyone else that may be looking at this, including our state representatives, because if there's no guarantee on that, then the state reps may be concerned. I don't want to speak for them, but then who pays for it? You know, are we asking them to pay for it if the developer can't?
No, I mean, I think the resolution is pretty clear, Councilor Oram. It's saying that the developer will be paying for the traffic light. If the developer doesn't pay for the traffic light, then I'm gonna guess there's not gonna be a traffic light, and probably guess even further, there's probably not gonna be a development, but we'll let that go and see what happens. Councilor Doucette. Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And so at least in some of the conversations that we had within the Urban Affairs meeting, and actually I talked to some of them offline, but it seems that it is very clear and apparent that if there's no light that goes into this location, there'll be no development. And that came out pretty apparent in the last Urban Affairs meeting. So if it's, you know, we kind of set the stage to say, if there's no light, there's no development. And the developer is like, okay, you know, they would be pretty open to actually make sure there's a light put in. And they seem themselves hamstrung from the state to actually get the light in. So that's the impression I got from the dialogue within the latest Urban Affairs meeting that these guys showed up in. So I think that they're very willing to pay for this because they understand if there's no light, there's no development. So that just as for your information, Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Councilor.
Mr. President, this is Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you. If I may go back to my school committee days when we had multiple resolutions at every convention, I was always told that the whereases are information. What's important are the resolves. So if you will read the first resolved, that the Marlborough City Council petitions the Massachusetts Department of Transportation to allow a traffic signal to be constructed at this proposed intersection, the design and construction of which to be paid for by the developer. So your point is well taken, Councilor Oram, but the resolved makes it clear who's paying for this.
Councilor Oram, you all set?
Yes, that does help. And I just wanted to make sure it was tight enough, and I agree with Councilor Roby, it is the therefore. So in that respect, I would be in favor. I think it wraps it up enough to keep it so that that's still there in the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Councilor Doucette? Oh, any other comments or questions? What's the idle TV mean? You were all set? Okay. No, I meant on this one. Is that, I don't know that one. All right. We got an issue with one of the TVs, but we're all set. Okay, moving along. So on the motion to approve the resolution with a signature page. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to approve the resolution is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 16.
Order number 21-100, 8183, transferring the amount of $1,504,785.40 from undesignated fund to OPEB trust pursuant to the financial policy of the city, and the recommendation of the Finance Committee is to approve.
Councilor Oram, Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Recommendation of committee is to approve the transfer.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll to approve the transfer.
Councilor Oram.
Oh, we lost him.
So, no, you haven't lost me. I had to plug in the computer. I apologize. Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Roby. I'm sorry, Councilor Roby, you are muted.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Thank you. Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
Motion to approve the transfer is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 17.
Order number 21-100, 8184, transferring the amount of $1,504,785.40 from undesignated fund to undesignated stabilization pursuant to the financial policy of the city. And the recommendation of the Finance Committee is to approve.
Thank you, Mr. President. Recommendation of committee is to approve the transfer.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer. Is there any discussion on the motion? I solved that one. All right. Note to self, stop with the IT skills during a meeting. On the motion to approve the transfer, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Excuse me, Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Perlman.
Councilor Perlman votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
Motion to approve the transfer is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 18.
Order number 21-100-8186, transferring the amount of $39,447 from various departments for fiscal year 21, which moves funds from and to accounts noted in the spreadsheet included with the request. The recommendation of the Finance Committee is to approve.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Recommendation of the committee is to approve the transfer.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
11 yes, sir.
The motion to approve the transfer is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 19.
Order number 21-100-8195A, proposed amendment to Chapter 125 Personnel of the City Code to add a stipend for members of the Conservation Commission at $150 per Conservation Commission meeting attended. The recommendation of the Finance Committee is to approve. The legal advertisement was ordered advertised at the February 22nd, 2021 City Council meeting. Advertisement was published on Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021, and action cannot be taken until the March 22nd, 2021 City Council meeting to comply with the 10-day period.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to postpone to March 22nd, 2021 at the next City Council meeting, please.
Motion made and seconded to postpone this item to our March 22nd meeting. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
11 yes, sir.
The motion to postpone this item to the March 22nd meeting is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 20.
Order number 21-100-8195B, transferring the amount of $3,150 to fund the Conservation Commission members' $150 per meeting stipend through June 30th, 2021. And the recommendation of the Finance Committee is to approve.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to postpone to the March 22nd, 2021 City Council meeting, please.
Motion made and seconded to postpone this item to the March 22nd City Council meeting. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
11 yes, sir.
The motion to postpone this item to the March 22nd meeting is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 21.
Order number 21-100-8196, the reappointment of James Griffin to the Board of Health for a 3-year term to expire the first Monday in February 2024. Recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. The recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Motion made and seconded to approve the reappointment of Mr. Griffin for the Personnel Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landis votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Councilor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
11 yes, sir.
The motion to approve the reappointment is approved, 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 22.
Order number 21-100-8197, the appointment of Philip Short to the Board of Health for a 3-year term to expire the first Monday in February 2024. Recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion and recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the appointment. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to approve the appointment is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 23.
Order number 21-100-8178, the appointment of Jonathan Steinberg to the Board of Assessors for a 3-year term from date of City Council confirmation. The recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion and recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Motion made and seconded to approve the appointment. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to approve the appointment is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 24.
Order number 21-100-8179, the appointment of Shanisa Sampson to the Parks and Recreation Commission for a 3-year term from date of City Council confirmation. The recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. The motion and recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Motion made and seconded to approve the appointment. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
The motion to approve the appointment is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item 25.
Order number 21-100-8177, the appointment of Krista Holme as Chief Procurement Officer for a 3-year term from date of City Council confirmation, and the recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. The motion and the recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the appointment of Krista Holme to this as Chief Procurement Officer. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Councilor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Doucette.
Councilor Doucette votes yes.
Councilor Irish.
Councilor Irish votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Councilor Oram votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Dumas.
Councilor Dumas votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
Motion to approve Krista Holme as Chief Procurement Officer is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed. Agenda item number 26.
Order number 21-100-8182, communication from Mayor Vigil requesting renewal of the intermunicipal agreement between the City of Marlborough and the Town of Sudbury for veteran services pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 4A, and Mass General Law, Chapter 115, Section 10. The agreement is in proper legal form as prepared by the city by Solicitor Grossfield, and the recommendation of the Veterans Affairs Committee is to approve.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the renewal of the intermunicipal agreement with the Town of Sudbury.
Motion made and seconded to approve the intermunicipality agreement with the Town of Sudbury. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilor Ossing.
Councilor Ossing votes yes.
Councilor Wagner.
Councilor Wagner votes yes.
Councilor Tenera.
Councilor Tenera votes yes.
Councilor Roby.
Councilor Roby votes yes.
Councilor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Councilor Navin.
Councilor Navin votes yes.
Councilor Landers.
Councilor Landers votes yes.
Councilor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
On the motion to approve the intermunicipality agreement with the town of Sudbury on the Veterans Agency, it is approved. 11 in favor, none opposed.
Mr. President,
Counselor Tonera.
motion to adjourn.
Motion is made and seconded to adjourn. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Counselor Doucette.
Counselor Doucette votes yes.
Counselor Navin.
Counselor Naden votes yes.
Counselor Pearlman.
Counselor Pearlman votes yes.
Counselor Tenera.
Counselor Tenera votes yes.
Counselor Ossing.
Counselor Ossing votes yes.
Counselor Irish.
Counselor Irish votes yes.
Counselor Wagner.
Counselor Wagner votes yes.
Counselor Roby.
Counselor Roby votes yes.
Counselor Dumas.
Counselor Dumas votes yes.
Counselor Oram.
Counselor Oram votes yes.
Counselor Landers.
Counselor Landis votes yes.
11 yeas, sir.
City Council is adjourned at 9:46. Remember to sign the 3 resolutions, if not tonight, tomorrow. We are adjourned.